need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
Question comes from Nicola, and she's writing all the way from London. She writes, "Hi Betsy, I have a question. Earlier this year, I sent it in and you gave me great advice. Now I have a new question about my hallway. It's going to be decorated in a few weeks. There's some serious holes in the plasterboard, aka drywall, that I need a decorator to repair anyway. So I am taking this opportunity to redecorate. I just don't know what to do with it. This hallway has absolutely no natural light as I'm in an apartment, and there are lots of doors coming off of it. It's an L shape with the 2 bedrooms, bathroom, living, dining, kitchen room off of it, as well as a large built-in cupboard. The cupboard doors are completely flat, so I plan to treat them like the wall, but all the other doors are contemporary wood veneer. Eventually, I'd love to replace them with some nicer doors. I can paint those, but now the wood effect doors are going to stay. I'm going quite colorful with the rest of my apartment. The blue paint swatch you see taped on the wall in the picture is the color I'm planning on doing in my kitchen, living room, dining room, and bedroom. Oh, excuse me. My bedroom will be pink. My 2-word phrase is relaxed preppy, and I'm drawing lots of inspirations from Key West and Miami Beach for my colors. Do I embrace how dark the hallway is and go dark? I've heard a lot of people say to do darker colors in darker rooms, but it's really not my vibe. I've considered using that same blue color in the hallway, but I'm just not really loving it there. I've also considered wallpaper, hence the small sample on the wall. Would that be too busy? I've previously thought about doing some simple paneling halfway up or 2/3 of the way up the wall, but I wonder if there are too many doors to make that look good. Basically, I have too many ideas, and unusually for me, I can't seem to come up with a vision for this hallway. Sorry for the essay, but thank you for your advice, Nicola." All right, let's look here, Nicola. I'm popping open the pictures as we're discussing. First things first, I think if you have bad quality wood doors, it is important to paint them. It's the beautiful quality wood doors that maybe you don't want to paint or don't need to paint. But if these look cheap, painting them the same color as the trim, I think will give the whole area a beautiful facelift. So that's my first recommendation. My second recommendation is that we want to keep in mind my idea of the Skittles effect, having too many colors within one view. If I'm walking down the hallway and these openings are open, in other words, there's no door to close off the pink bedroom or the vibrant blue living room, dining room, kitchen, we want to be mindful that we don't want this rainbow of fruit flavors. I only want to see, ideally, 2 Roy G. Biv colors, and the rest would be neutral or lighter versions or darker versions of the Roy G. Biv colors. Also, when you're thinking about painting something a really bold, out loud color, and the color that you're showing here is definitely bold and out loud. It is, well, the color on the wallpaper has variations of teal or kind of an ocean or Caribbean blue. And it goes from quite a saturated Caribbean blue to a lighter tone. And it has this kind of scallop pattern that has a small like fan design inside the scallop that's the lighter teal. And then the outer edges of the scallop are that darker teal or turquoise. There's a lot going on with that paper, and it's got about a medium-sized pattern. I would say each scallop, which ends in a point at the top, is probably 6 to 8 inches high. Then the wall paint that you're thinking about for the other room that you're planning on bringing into here is also a very light teal. So it's kind of playing off that fan shape in the wallpaper. The thing about wallpaper is it draws attention to something. This hallway is very utilitarian. It has so many doorways, so many openings. There's going to be a lot of cuts in this paper, which is why I'm pleased with the pattern you chose, because it's not so big. It's not like a mural that will be cut up and you'll kind of lose the effect, nor is it a lot of small pattern, which could be dizzying in a large expanse like this L-shaped hallway. I don't love the idea of doing the same blue that's in the living, dining, kitchen, because that's going to be a lot of that color blue. It's going to be in that big open space, and it's going to be throughout this hall, and I think it will lose its impact. It may even start to feel like a neutral in this space because you're just using it so much. When I'm designing, when I'm facing questions like this, I like to do process of elimination. I would eliminate the idea that we are going to be using the same blue paint color for the reasons I just mentioned. I am open to the wallpaper idea, and this wallpaper is certainly growing on me. I'm not really open to the idea of doing some kind of molding 2/3 of the way up or a third of the way up. The reason is because this hallway is broken up by so many door frames, so many actual doors, so many openings that I just think it's going to be too much going on architecturally, and molding is an architectural feature. The other option is just to paint it a neutral. Do an interesting runner rug on the floor, do some interesting art in a few specific locations along the L shape, and then do some amazing light fixtures that will not only help to add illumination to the space, but that can also serve as little sculptural pieces that provide visual interest. Those would be my tips. So, takeaway there, distilling it down to my true advice, either keep it neutral because this space is starting to sound a little loud. It is starting to sound like you have a lot of ideas. Let me go back. It was preppy and what else? Dun, 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 dun. Preppy, Key West, Miami Beach. Oh, I'm looking for that other word. Relaxed preppy. I can't see any of your other design choices, but for me, Key West totally goes with relaxed. It does not go with preppy. When I think preppy, I think Connecticut, frankly. Not that I plan on being preppy, but that's the kind of thing I think about. Now, the key with a two-word phrase is that it's truly personal, that you create a two-word phrase that lights you up, that's clear to you, that when you're shopping, you say, yes, this is it, and no, that is not it. And seeing as how we're in different countries, I mean, you're using the word cupboard for closet, I have a feeling we might be using different words for preppy as well. So just key in and make sure that the two-word phrase you pick truly resonates with you and doesn't conflict with the inspiration you've provided. Because right now for me, Key West and Miami Beach are even two totally separate ideas. Miami Beach is kind of urban, fun. It may have some art deco, but definitely 80s. I think Miami Vice. I think pastels. I think some neons. And when I'm thinking Key West, I'm thinking total beach vibe. I'm thinking laid back. I'm thinking a little shop worn. I'm thinking Ernest Hemingway's kind of Key West with those Victorian style homes. Make sure that it's one idea, not 6 ideas. I'm worried based on the paint color I'm seeing, based on the wallpaper, and based on the fact you're sharing with me you have a ton of ideas, that you may try and cram everything into one house versus stepping back and saying, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a Key West bedroom. And I'm going to have a Miami Beach living, dining, kitchen area. I'm also going to keep that flowing through the hallway, which is clearly visible from that area. Just pare down the ideas so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming. I myself have plenty of ideas, and you can have a different two-word phrase for areas that are closed off with a door, but open areas really need to feel quite consistent. And the last word you want to think about when creating that two-word phrase, and the word I'm most worried about in this equation, is sophisticated. All those ideas can start to deteriorate the sophistication, can take away from that elevated idea we're going for. Because even if you didn't hire a designer, even if you're doing this on your own, you still want it to look like it was professional. You still want it to look aspirational when people come in. Wow, this is amazing, versus, whoa, this is a lot. All right, I hope that helped, Nicola. Please keep us posted. I can't wait to see what you choose. A big thank you to Aton and the Embassy, who wrote our theme song. A shout out to Catherine Heller, who owns the podcast shop and is our editor extraordinaire. We also want to thank Ginny Sunasan and her team at the Savvy Podcast Agency for their help with our social, our YouTube channel, and so much more. We also want to thank Uploft, which is our parent company who supports this podcast. And lastly, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all your support.